Hello, everybody. Welcome back to No Man's Land, where the goal is $10 million or FS25, whichever comes first. We currently have $3.4 million because we made quite a bit of money overnight from the BGA and also from our flower and mushroom productions. See how we're doing over here. Yeah, it's still got plenty of silage. It's still making. Not sure how much straw we've got in the silo. Let's see. We've got potatoes and we've got 300,000 liters of silage. We don't have any straw right now, but those potatoes are saving us, man. We're racking up money because the BGA never stops. We do have an oat field to harvest today, so we'll get on that at some point in this episode. Let's see how the chickens are doing. The chickens have plenty of food for the day, I think. We'll feed them before this particular day is over, and they should be just fine. I don't think there's really much else to do today except sell some things. We've got 4 pallets of mayonnaise. We don't have any donuts because we don't have any flour, and we don't have any flour because we don't have any oats in the flour mill. So we need to get that done very first thing. We are almost done with this field. We've just got a few little places we still need to clean up. But I think that went well. I think we've got enough oats here to keep our flour production going. We should just have a little piece down here at the end. And that's going to do it. That's 9,200 liters. I was going to dump that in the mill, but I think it'd be easier just to dump it in the trailer. I built myself a little obstacle course over there. I'm not sure if I can even get to the mill at this point. That's all right. It gives us a better total of how much oats we actually have. There we go. Oops, wrong way. Let's see. Yeah, looks like we're going to have about 40,000 liters, so that's very good. More donuts, more money. Oops. I pressed the wrong button. I started doubting myself that I had replaced this with the old General Mill, but I didn't. I left this here because it makes flour at a pretty good pace. All right, now we have 5 pallets of mayonnaise. I'm hoping we get to at least 10 by the end of the day. All right, next job is to pick up all of the straw. All right, I got rid of the harvester, and now we are going to just sit back and appreciate the majesty that is the Misticat Rapide 8400. This is perhaps my most often used mod on Farming Simulator 22. It just makes life so much nicer. So let's just sit back and enjoy what it can do. It can eat through a field of straw or grass effortlessly. I think the model that I have right now, let me turn on the help menu. Yes, the model that I have currently is the 500,000 liter model, and using the forage wagon capacity expansion mod, you could up that to 750,000. But normally I buy the 2.5 million liter model for a little bit more. And hardly ever gets full. Occasionally, like if I'm playing on 4 fields, then yeah, I think I did that. I was playing that map the other day, and I did the wheat field that you get on new farmer mode, and I got almost 3 million liters of straw off of one of those fields. So if you're playing with very large fields, it's almost necessary. In my NF Marsh series, those were enormous fields, and I regularly filled up 2.45 meters, 2.5 million liters, I should say. So right now we're at 139, which is not, you know, we'll probably get about 300,000 out of this field. But that's 300,000 more liters of silage that we can send to the BGA. I wonder if straw silage is going to be part of the base game in 25. It was not in 22, but many modders started to add it. And so you have a lot of productions now that will make straw silage. So we'll see. But if you want straw silage, it's a relatively trivial thing to do to add silage to any sort of fermentation silo. I'm guessing that mods for 25 will be fairly similar to mods for 22. I mean, that's just my opinion based on my rudimentary understanding of modding. So I could be completely wrong there, but it's my intuition says that they should be fairly similar. The mods in 19 were not terribly dissimilar from the mods in 22, at least on the XML side. I have zero knowledge of modding on the image and animation side of the thing. The only blender I know how to use makes margaritas. And we're winding it up. In just a few minutes, we've cleared all the straw and we've got a little over 300,000 liters, which will make us quite a bit of money. You know, there's so many different ways to play this game. Sometimes I like playing survival challenge type games. Sometimes I like playing the most difficult setting. But generally, I like to keep the game moving. And as I've always said, what am I doing? In my opinion, the difficulty settings on Farming Simulator 22 really don't have a lot to do with the difficulty. They have to do with how long it takes you to accomplish the goal. On easy settings, you know, you can do everything fairly quickly because you get a lot of money for the things that you sell. On hard mode, you're gonna go slow because you just don't make money very quickly. So, you know, it just kind of depends on the game that you like. But generally, I like to play faster. I like to see things happen. I think we all do. I think we all like some instant gratification. But I will say that the most gratifying are the survival challenges where you start with nothing and you end with several million and a farm that you've built from zero. Those are the most gratifying. But I like to play those on easy with some mods that make life a little less tedious, shall we say. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get that field seeded, and I'll bring you back and we'll get some weeds out of a sorghum field. So I know I said I wasn't going to show any more seeding, but you know, we're coming to the end here, and I felt like I wanted to take one last opportunity to extol the virtues of this particular planter. Whoa, getting overexcited here. Now, even the base game version of this planter is awesome. You know, you start out with 18-meter working width. It's huge. It's absolutely huge. For maps with fields like Vierfelden, 4 fields, some of the PC-only maps made by Kaz, uh, fields are just enormous. Big Flats, Texas. It's just, it would be a fool's errand to try to deal with those fields with anything less than 18 meters. When I play Vierfelden, I generally buy 2 of these, and they are going at the same time. And it still takes quite a while to plant those fields. So this one in particular is modded. The base game uses liquid fertilizer, which is always more expensive, and it is only a planter. This is a modded version that uses solid fertilizer and will plant anything in the game, including sugarcane. So I'm going to miss this planter dearly. We'll have the base game version of it, I'm sure, on day 1. But that means I'll also have to buy a seeder. And I think the Amazon is the biggest base game seeder at 15 meters, if I'm remembering correctly. So hopefully we'll have that one at lunchtime. But now I'm talking about spending, I don't know, $500,000 for both of those instead of 150 grand for one. So, you know, the game will be a little different without mods, certainly. But that's okay. Looking forward to it. We have weeds in our small oat field over there. I guess I must have filled this up last time because I do not see herbicide. If I remember correctly, our spawn point was down here. Ooh, I want to make sure that we're actually making flour. Yep, we're making flour. Let's make sure that we're distributing it still. Got lots of oats. Got canola. Ooh, we are not distributing canola oil. I'm glad I looked. Where's flour? There it is. And we are distributing. Good. So let's get some herbicide. Well, I guess I moved the spawn point. Because that's what I do. Let's see. If I were herbicide, where would I be? Oh, come on now. Where? Well, it says this is the spawn point. Yep, there's my herbicide. All right. I'm not too far from the farm. It is my sincerest wish that the maker of Easy Development Mod makes easy development mod for 25 as quickly as humanly possible. And not just for gameplay, for making videos. Being able to stop and start time is probably one of the biggest ones. The biggest helpful things that it does. I mean, I can use the game to slow down time to 0.5, but I can't outright stop time. And before I start recording a video, the first thing I do is get onto the save and stop time and look around to remind myself of what needs to be done. And sometimes that process can take, 15, 20 minutes to kind of look around, make a plan, decide what you're going to do. So Easy Development Mod is a huge help. That and Flight is nice. Remove Objects is huge. Super Strength, normally I use the Super Strength that comes with Lumberjack mod, which is another mod that I hope comes along fairly quickly. But it usually does. That was one of the first mods that hit for 22, if I remember correctly. As long as I have a way to remove trees without actually doing like real lumberjacking, I don't even care if I make money off of them. I just want to be able to remove trees that are in my way without having to buy or lease a bunch of expensive equipment to remove one or two trees. In my mind, that's the equivalent of hiring a company to come out and take down a couple of trees. I mean, that's what Lumberjack mod is to me. And if I were playing ultra realistic, I would probably charge myself every time I used it. Which I think would be a fair way to do it. But I think everybody, farmers included, has things that they're good at and has things that they're not good at that they will hire in people to do. And tree removal is one of those things. I don't I don't know that people always understand how dangerous it is to cut down a tree. I mean, there are so many things that can go wrong when you're cutting down a tree that could literally kill you if it's a large tree. You really got to know what you're doing. And that's why tree companies charge a lot of money to take down trees. All right, and that is my Arbor Day TED Talk. Thank you for coming. I'm going to look around and see what comes next. I'll get back to you. I just looked, and our chickens have less than a full day of food left, so we're going to go ahead and feed them. Hopefully we have something here to feed them. We do not. Huh. Okay. Well, then really, I mean, we have a field of sorghum that's going to be ready tomorrow, the one that we just sprayed. I think that's sorghum, or is that oats? Yeah, that's oats. So we don't have any chicken food coming for a long time. So we're going to need to buy them some food, which is fine. We'll buy a lot. We'll get it all filled up. And it gives me a chance to use another one of my favorite mods. Load up, well, store delivery number 1. Wow. Sorry for the pause. I was just contemplating life without store deliveries. But another one of my favorite mods is this one. Let's see. It's going to be under pallets. And it's this mod right here that gives you all these pallets. It's called the Farm Supply Pack. And you can buy a pallet of 5,000 liters of just about anything for $1,000. So we're going to buy chicken feed, and we're going to buy 10 pallets, and that's $10,000 for 50,000 liters of chicken food. And I think that's a good deal. All right, that should be 10,000 liters. It is. Or 50,000 liters, sorry. The only thing about these is that some other mods treat them like they are not what they are. For instance, the seeder or the planter that I love so dearly, unless you get these in exactly the right place, it acts as if they don't exist. Unless you pick them up and hold them over the planter, in which case they work just fine. So it's just kind of odd what works and what doesn't. Speaking of kind of odd, but yeah, most of the time you've got to hold these up off the ground to get them to go in. But for, for the price, you really can't beat it. So I usually just stick a couple in the trigger and then I set some others on top. If I were going to be using this all the time, I would probably put something above the trigger. I'd probably put some pallets just laying on the trigger that I could set these on top of, and then I could just stack them up to the sky and they would continuously feed my chickens. Well, I halfway expected this to stop at some point. Ah, and it has. All right. So our chicken coop is full. Chickens are happy. So what I'm going to do next is just skip some time. We're going to skip to the end of the day, and I'm going to try not to skip all the way into the dark because that ended kind of poorly last time. So I'm going to go ahead and advance time here. We're just going to do we'll do 5,000. Oh, I almost did it. I almost just watched it go. Well, let's see what we got here. We made about we made about $300,000 while we advanced time, by the way. We have one more that's going to make pretty soon. We got 876. Yeah. Okay, now we've got some flour in there. We should make donuts a little more quickly. I think what I'm going to do is just sleep. And then we're going to sell some things first thing in the morning. And I think we may also have an oat field that we need to harvest. And there's that problem again. But we're going to ignore it and press on. All right, we are now at $4.3 million. We have an oat field out there that's ready to harvest. We have a canola field that will be ready to harvest tomorrow, and we probably have an oat field full of weeds over here. Yep, there are the weeds. I should have sprayed it yesterday while I had the sprayer out. I just didn't think of it. First thing we're going to do this morning is we're going to jump in the truck and we're going to go make some money. Any more? Got to be at least one more. Because we had one inside that was 870 something. Oh yeah, there we go. That's what I'm talking about. We're going to make some money this morning. No. There's probably going to be more donuts. Not too many more. All right. Despite the pain that this is going to cause, I'm going to try to get these on the truck. Really? The trick is to get them way up in the air, get them centered over where you want them to be, and then lower them, and they fall down where you want them. It's kind of silly that you have to do that in the first place, but it is what it is. Okay, we got them all on there. If we can just get back in the truck. Here we go. Everything's strapped down. We're going to drive very carefully so that we don't flip this thing again. All right, we're going to take this turn very carefully. Fortunately, donuts is not accepted at the mayonnaise sales, as you can clearly see. And then this lying place will lie to you and tell you that donuts is not accepted while it is accepting your donuts. Wow, I forgot to actually look at what we made from mayonnaise. Wow, I think we had 4.3 when we came in. So, about 600,000. I'll take it. I will take it. We are so close to 5 million, which is the halfway point. And we're making money at quite an accelerated rate now. I think as long as we can keep enough silage in the BGA, then we're going to be good. This BGA will burn silage just about as fast as we can make it. Okay, I got away from the grip of the truck. So, in the next episode, we will be harvesting that field over there and probably this field here as well, because we will sleep and run at least a couple of days in succession. This episode will get released on Monday. I will definitely be releasing an episode on Tuesday, the 5th, just to keep my mind occupied. And if I don't finish it on the 5th, then I'll do one more, but hopefully I will finish it tomorrow on Tuesday, November 5th. And then we can all move on to FS25. So if you like this video, I sure would appreciate a thumbs up or a subscription. If you did not like this video, please post a comment and tell me why. Either way, thanks so much for being here. I'll see you next time.